the Edge with April Mahoney Brains. Here, this is the place where the conversation is pointed, the guests are sharp, and the responses are never dull. Welcome home, Brains.
Coming to you straight from San Diego, California. Let's welcome our host, April Mahoney.
So you're talking a little bit about smoking. You know, I used to smoke too, cigarettes, and I had an allergic reaction to cigarettes. Have you ever heard of that?
Oh, that's good for you.
Well, it was good.
You stopped smoking?
Oh, yes. It was horrible. My face swelled up, my lips around. I started getting jittery. I felt all the endorphins in my brain fire up. It was not a good thing, Claudine. Not at all. And I didn't have any idea that that could happen to you, you know, from smoking cigarettes. I just thought it was, you know, lung disease or cancer, some other kind of illness. But I had no idea that you could have an allergic reaction. So, Brains, I'm telling you, it's not good. Right there, that is Claudine Paquet. She is brilliant. She's a former administrator for schools, principal, vice principal, correct?
Yes, vice principal. Mm.
And she has come up with a dynamic program that is going to help parents navigate through the issues that their children are experiencing and they're experiencing as parenting. You know, right now, it's all over the place. These little people that live with you, you had no idea who they were because they were gone 8-10 hours a day. You were at work. Well, now we're all in the house together, and a lot of parents are homeschooling. And so what we want to do here on The Edge is we want to give you the best opportunities and the best options from all over the world, best practices on how we can become better parents, grandparents, foster parents, step parents, and all that to help these children navigate through what they're going through. So help me welcome her to The Edge today. Hello, Claudine. How are you, beautiful?
Hello. I'm very happy to be with you. Thank you very much.
I love your French accent. And I've seen a lot of your information, and it's all in French. And I feel it's such a disadvantage because I don't speak the language. But you're going to convert it, and you're going to share it with us today about what is going on with par example.
Yes. Because I have a book that was out in November. This one is in French, but my English book, by example, will be out. It's at the layout stage now at the moment. So it will be out. My launch was supposed to be in March, but with the pandemic, everything was stopped. So now it will be in October. So I hope I'll have both. I'll have the English version also. Well, I'm very happy to have done it in both languages.
That's so important too, because, being bilingual, there's a lot of people, I think French is the second most popular language, or is it Spanish?
Spanish, I think. French, yeah.
So I think it's maybe English, Spanish, and French, but it's up there in the top 3, and it's a beautiful language. Tell us a little bit about you and your history and where it all began for you in education.
Yeah. When I was in grade 1, I was at school. I was very curious. I was raising my hand and I was asking questions. And the nun, because I was going to a convent, the nun said to me, "Ah, Claudine, you're really impolite." And I said, "I am impolite?" And I am the 9th in my family of 9 children.
Wow.
So in our family, the value of to be polite was a value that we practice in our day-to-day life. And it was taught, our parents taught us how to be polite. So I said,
also,
I'm sure
with a family of 9, you also needed to be heard.
Yes. And, I really, I thought I'm polite. So I'm not impolite. Why does she says that I am impolite? So I said, maybe it's because I'm not intelligent and she doesn't want to tell me. So from now on, I thought I was not intelligent. So I went to school and I passed my years, really low grade. And until I was in college, I was maybe 18 years old. And I had a mathematics course and I could do the exam and everything. And I was happy to do it. And my friend around couldn't do it and they didn't understand. So I said, hey, if they don't understand, and I do understand, maybe I am intelligent. So it's only, from 6 to 18, I thought I was not intelligent. Only because of the comment of the nurse, the nun. So I said, it's so important what we tell the kids, we have to tell them the truth, not because at that time, the nun couldn't say that she didn't have the answer because I was asking very deep question and she didn't know the answer. Instead of saying, oh, I'll go tonight to see in the encyclopedia and come with the answer to you tomorrow, like they do now, they do with Google, that everything is easy to get.
Absolutely.
So she couldn't say that because she would lose the face, like she will be.
Well, beyond losing faith, what it does, it also diminishes the self-esteem of the child. The child feels shame, they feel embarrassed, they figure, okay, well, I'm not going to be heard and what I have to say is not important, so I'm going to shut down. So as an educator, you moved into education. How did you change that for the students that you worked with?
I took them, actually, I will tell you, it's because I see their soul. I see them as they are inside. I see that they're perfect. We think we're not enough. We don't do enough. And I always look at the kids, saying, you are what you are and let's shine, let's get what is your gift and try to make it shine. So that was my pleasure because sometimes some kids were introvert. So I said, okay, you have to talk more. And the other one who was extrovert that want to talk all the time, I said, okay, your challenge would be to just don't talk. The other one is talk. This one is not talk. And in the classroom, we like when it's quiet. And I even said that to parents before. I said, oh, your kid, she's so good. I would have 18 of them in my class. Yeah, but she's so good, but she doesn't express herself. Right. She has to get out of herself and express herself. We all have challenges and they are not the same.
Absolutely. So what are some of the exercises that you incorporate in, say, extroverted or introverted children into learning to express themselves? What did you teach them as an educator?
Oh, the introvert has to get the information and to process the information from the inside. So, I feel so bad when I hear in the news that there is a drama somewhere, really a crime or something, and they say, oh, he was an introvert. He was in his apartment and he didn't talk to anyone. And it's not, he didn't do a crime because he was an introvert. He did a crime because he was hurt. He was not himself. And an introvert it's a way of processing the information. You have to get it in before, and then after you can say what you think. And at school, introvert often seems to be liar, not telling the truth, because they say, yes, I understand. And they go home, they try to process the information and they lack of information. So they cannot come back the next day with the work done. So they can come back and they say, I didn't understand. And the teacher says, oh, you told me you understood and it's because you didn't want to do your homework.
Right.
And often they are misunderstood. That's right. So sad.
And they're punished. And, again, they're misunderstood. And that morphs into adulthood. Yes. Sometimes you see this perfectionist, and I have an issue with the perfectionist. I don't try to be perfect all the time. I want to leave a little bit of gap. I want to leave a little bit of room in there to grow and develop. But you see, this person that's perfectionist, a lot of times that's insecurity,
Yeah, and it's what is your rapport, what is your, do you allow mistake in your life?
Right, exactly.
Do you allow it, like in the book, there's a chapter, mistake is inevitable.
Absolutely.
We have to learn, and from under 12 at the primary school, I don't know if you call it primary or elementary, it's the place where you learn how to learn.
Right.
So it's a time to make mistakes. You're not doing your bar, like if you want to be an advocate, a lawyer.
Exactly.
If you want to be a lawyer.
Exactly.
It's not because you don't have this experience. It's good, this exam is very important and you have a lot of experience. You are at university, at master degree. But in the primary school, they learn how to learn. And that's what I was teaching them. And when I was a vice principal, and we had to do a plan d'intervention, an intervention, with the parents, the specialists, and the kid, I always ask the parent, do you think you can do what we ask you? Like let's say homework. And sometimes the parents, they cannot do it, Actually, they want to do it. Their intention is to help the kid, but they arrive at 6:30. They have to cook dinner. They have to, and it's impossible to make. So I was always saying, if you can't, we'll find another way, another solution, because we don't want to impose it on you. And so many times we impose because we think it's the right thing to do.
Right. And you know what? That's what parents do. They think that they know everything, but we don't. We learn a lot from our children, and we have to open ourselves up to be good listeners. A lot of times as parents, we just want to talk, and children don't want to be talked to. They want to be, or talked at. They want to be engaged in the conversation. They will tell you everything they want you to know, and more than probably you need to know, by an active engaging of listening as well as communicating. What do you share with parents? What advice do you give and suggestions do you give with parents with dealing with these type of issues when they uncover them with their children?
That's exactly what you said. You have to listen. You listen more than you talk, because when you talk, you say probably something that the child should do, or to behave better or something like that. But when doing it, you dictate him what to do, and you would like him to be responsible. But what you do instead, it's you make him an executor, not a thinker. He doesn't think about what he has to do, or he doesn't think what to solve the problem himself. He just executes what you say. And what in my book I call it the dictator parent. You dictate what you do. And we do, as parents, we do it mindfully, not mindfully. We do it, we mean well. Our intention is good, but it's not what we do. We do exactly the opposite. We don't help them to be responsible and to think, to develop their brain. They have to think, they have to reflect. And if you don't leave them making mistakes and being guided, you can guide them all the way. You make sure that nothing really bad happened to them, but you just guide them at the back. It's like another thing at the airport. I love at the airport seeing a small kid walking alone, and he's so happy. He's walking, and the mother or the father is just at 3 feet behind, just there, making sure that nothing happened. But the little boy or the little girl is so proud. I'm walking in a place that I discover things. So you show your kids that life, the universe, is a safe place. It's not a scary place. But when you say, take care of this, oh, take care, don't cross the street, take care, don't talk to a stranger, don't do this, don't do that. And they do it, they do it because they love their kid and they want to protect them.
Right.
But the kids develop a sense of stress and fear. They are fearful and for nothing, because fear is good when you smell smoke. It's good because there might be a fire. But to cross the street, it's too much stress for them.
But Claudine, there's a lot of, parenting, people get so touchy about that. They really, really do. And sometimes I see that some parents are a little too lenient. There's no discipline. There is no structure. I'll see a kid, and yes, Brains, I say it, they are falling out in the store. They're kicking, they're stomping, they're doing this, they're doing that. Now, I'm not into spanking. Okay, I don't believe anybody should put their hands on their kids. Sometimes you might have to, but for the most part, I don't believe in that. But when it comes to disciplining your children, that is a way of rearing. That is a way of teaching them their boundaries, because we're not equals. We're never going to be equals. I don't care if you're 25 and I'm 72. Even though you're an adult, we're never equals. But how do parents incorporate a sense of discipline and safety in this as well?
To my point of view, you don't have to discipline, like you have to explain, you have to teach, you have to educate. Discipline, you don't, because to me, discipline is punishing. You have to punish, and I don't believe in that. I believe in you teach. I'll tell you something that happened to me. My son was 7. His friend was 5, and he felt his power. He was saying to his friend, his neighbor, "Hey, I'm going to bet you, I'm going to fight with you." And the little kid was going straight on the floor, and saying, "Oh, I'm afraid, I am afraid." And Olivier said, "Hey, it's so fun, I just have to raise my hand," and he goes on the floor. And my son was feeling his power, but not a good power. So what I did, it was really hard. It took about a week or 2 at the most, but to me, it looked like if it was 2 years. Every night I was talking to him. Do you realize what you do? He's really afraid of you. He said, "Yes, Mom, but I will never, never touch him. You know me, I will not." I said, "I know you," but he doesn't. He doesn't think, he thinks you will hurt him. He said, no, I will never do, but it's so funny. I just do that, and he crawls on the floor. And I said, "Olivier, it's not fair. It's not good. You are a good boy, but what you do is not good. We have to separate, the behavior and the person. So you are a good boy, but what you do, it's not good, And he said, "Oh, no." And he did it for a few days. And after his mother, the neighbor's mother, talked to Olivier and everything. And every night I was saying, "Would you like me to do it to you? Would you like that? You have to." And Olivier said, "Oh, no, it's so funny. It's so funny. I just do that." And so anyway, his mom, maybe after a week, it stopped. He understood that it was enough. He had enough fun and everything. But that was during the summer. But at school, there was a girl that bullied him. And he was the one who didn't like it. So he came to me and he said, "Mom, she's this and she does that." I said, "Yes, but you have to own your power. You had fun to do this summer, 2 months ago. But now it's your turn. So when you go and you say to the girl, 'Hey, that's enough. I'm not afraid of you anymore,' you own your power and you say that, she'll stop immediately, I'm sure." And he said, "Okay." And once in a while, he came back to me, "Oh, she was at me again." And I said, "Olivier, when you get your own power, you'll see." And it took maybe a few months. He really knew that the power was within. You don't need to have power over people.
Right. That makes
But the lesson is where it's learned for life. It was bad in those, few months. That was within a year. But to me, I said, do I do the right thing? Do I do the right thing not to punish him and this and that?
Right.
But Olivier never fought. You know, he's not a fighting
Well,
man.
you don't want them to be, you don't want people to be aggressive. And I totally get that. But I am of a little bit different belief. You know, I believe that I don't think that discipline is necessarily a punishment. I think that it is a boundary. I think that I think that it is a show of respect for. I mean, and this is just me. You know, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I've been a damn good mother, and so my kids have gotten, you know, and grandmother and godmother and all that other good stuff too. But I believe that they need to understand structure, that they need to understand authority, that we are not equals, that you're going to run across people that you're going to have to be submissive to. And there are people that you're going to have to stand up to yourself and be a little bit aggressive. So I totally understand what you're saying, and I respect that, because these are little, gentle minds, but they are going to grow up to be active, engaging human beings. And so with this mindset, we want to be able to have some duality, because they are going to grow into teenagers, and teenagers are very different than elementary, and they're going to turn into parents themselves. And we don't want aggressive human beings, but we want people to identify with some balance. So I love your book. I love the name of your book, Par exemple. Now say that for me again in French.
Par exemple. But in English, it's by example. Educate with ease and confidence.
By example. Now, you were saying, you had your finger up. You were going to say something. Chime in. What were you going to tell me?
Yeah, you know, you were talking about the young child in the shopping center, you know, that he does the bacon. He gets into. So many times the parents, they forget to tell the child, okay, now we're going to the shopping center. We're going to go, I have this and that to do. And I'm going to buy you something, or I'm not going to buy you something. You know, you tell him or her what you're going to do. And you say, and if you ask for more, or you want to go, not today, we don't go there, or you have to tell what will happen. And if you start doing the bacon, you know, you just say, okay, that's finished, come, we go. You don't fight, you don't argue, because when the child is is angry like that, you know, you don't talk, you know, it's not a time to talk.
Well, it's
so
not
you just say, let's go on.
Right. And again, it's no time for bargaining. Sometimes what I say goes. That's just it. A lot of times people want to barter. And that's why millennials, I think, are getting such a hard time now, because it's a different mindset in raising children than when I was growing up. When I was growing up, you knew exactly what to do. It was a system. You came home, you did your homework, you had a snack, then maybe you could play a game or whatever. You cleaned up your plate afterwards, you did your chores. Now we've become a little bit more gentle, giving options. Oh, well, you know, you don't want to eat your peas. Okay, well, then let's go to a fast food restaurant. Or, okay, potty training. You know, do you have to use the bathroom? It's a lot to potty training brains. They got to think, they got to go, they got to tell you, they got to pull the pants down, and you're asking them for options. And they have the nerve to get mad when the child doesn't go. You know, or they'll be 4 or 5 years old and still in Pampers. When are the parents going to start taking charge? So again, I have a little bit different philosophy on that. What you're saying is absolutely right. Okay. And it works. But what's happening is the mindset of millennials now, and what is perceived, is that they're lazy, is that, you know, you have to tell them everything to do. I share an example that I had with my daughter. 5 dishes in the sink. I tell her to wash the dishes. I go back and look. She tells me she washes the dishes that she used. I came up out the ground. That's unacceptable. To tell them everything. Okay, so you need to file this under this and contact the customer, then follow up. I mean, this is the mindset of what people are thinking. How do we, as more seasoned, mature adults, migrate our mindset to working with millennials to create a harmony. Because again, we've created this by giving them these options and these choices. And now all of a sudden we're looking back and saying, hey, we've created monsters because they're lazy. Help us navigate through that, Claudine. Does that make sense?
But it depends what, you know, that you're talking about dishes. What is the rule in the house? Did you discuss?
There should be no rule. That, to me, that's like common sense. If there's dishes and I say wash the dishes, wash the dishes.
April, you know, now there are a lot of what is the Asperger, and what is autism. You know what I'm talking about?
Right, autism.
Those, you know, it's not the case for your daughter, but there are a lot of autism, and you have to tell them everything, because that's the way their brain is made. You know, you have, once they know exactly A, B, C, D, something that you do, it's obvious. It's not obvious to them. You have to tell them. And and then once they know it, they will repeat it and they'll be good. But you have to tell. It's like, for you, it's obvious. You know, you don't have to tell the rules. You know, you wash the dishes. Well, I wash the dishes, and that's okay. The dishes has been, there's some dishes to be washed. I wash or you wash it. But if you want to raise your kids and you want harmony in the house, you have to tell what you want, and you have to speak it out. We think, like in my family, we were 9, you know, sometimes my brother was doing just there, and we understood each other because we were a crowd and we knew, you know, what to do, and without saying it. But now it's not that anymore. We have to say.
This is what I'm trying to figure out. Where is the disconnect between me and that? Now, I understand autistic, special needs, all that, but that wasn't the case. I'm talking about the generational disconnect that is going on now between me, not just me, but my age group, people 50 and over, and millennials anywhere between 15 and 25. There is a huge communication gap. And so how do we bridge that? It's not just, you know, yeah, you tell them, okay, so I've told you what to do. I've explained what to do, but I'm not going to explain it every time. So how do we kind of lighten up our expectations, or how do we bring them up to our expectations is what I'm asking.
I think, to my point of view, you know, you have to make some rule. You have to explain exactly what you expect from them. And then after, you know, the consequences will be, the consequences has to be relative to the what they did wrong, you know. Right. But we want to punish
so we can agree on that. You do believe that there is cause and effect. You do believe that there is consequences for action or inaction. Yeah,
depends of your value, because every family, they have their own value. What is your, do you talk to your husband and do you sit down and say, what is our value? Well, how do we want to raise our kids? You know, it's like if we take it for granted that, of course he knows what is the value, but we never spoke it out. We never spoke about that. So we have to talk about these things. And we say let's say the child is late to go to school and he takes the school bus. Mm-hmm. And you say, no, I'm not going to give you a lift, or the next time you miss the bus, you know, I'm not going to. You say that and you don't do it. You know, like you don't. So they have to have the consequences of the action. Okay. You don't go, you have to, I was brought up being respectful of my parents, but being respectful was being afraid of my parents. Mm-hmm. And the kids, they are not afraid of us anymore.
No, and I call the police on you.
I like it. I like it because, you know, I don't want to raise my child being afraid of me, you know, like I don't want that. I want him to get responsible and you know, to be mindful and to be conscious. It's like consciousness. I cannot say.
That's okay. Conscientious, I got you.
To be conscious, to be consciousness parenting. You
Right.
know, the kid, if you talk to his consciousness, you know, like if you talk to him as he's aware of the consequences and he's aware to respect the other person, then he'll do it. He will do it. But we go too fast. We don't explain, and we think he will react because I did that. Because for us, when we brought up, we were afraid. We better behave because there was a big consequences that was not related to the thing doing, and so we have to explain to our kids. But you are the boss, you know, in your family, you know, like there are some rules that it's not negotiable. There's no rule, no, it's not, and they know it.
Okay.
You know, like for Olivier, he knew, you know, that there was something, don't even try. You know, that's it, and that's safety rules or things like that.
Right.
And other rules that he wants to change, okay, what do you think? And we can be open to change things. You know, no, I don't want to do my homework when I come back from school. I want to do it. Okay, can you do it and still get it done? Yeah, okay, do it.
Right.
And
You have to have some flexibility because that's what is teaching, you know, our children to be flexible. Let me ask you a question for educators in the classroom. Very, very difficult. You've got kids on all kinds of spectrum. You've got some that are medicated, some that are autistic, some are, you know, hyperactive, some that are just introverted, extroverted. How do teachers step back and try to navigate through this? Because, you know, here in the United States, some classrooms are 20, 25 kids. Some classrooms now in underserved and overlooked communities don't have a teacher's aide or have parents that are able to come in and support that. They don't even have books and pencils. Teachers are taking that out of their own pocket to support that. How do we support our teachers? Because teachers and nurses are number one in my heart. They take a lot. So how do we take this into the classroom and help the teachers and to support them?
I was a vice principal in inner city school where poor parents, and it was not easy. The teachers want to do the right thing, and the teachers feel guilty of not giving more that they could do. You know, first of all, if you teach in those kind of school, you have to be comfortable teaching it there. You know, otherwise go to another school because you have to be open to take the kids the way they are, you know.
Right.
And
kids
want to be validated. They want to be here. They want to be seen, and they do it differently. You know, that some of them they do it by bullying. Some of them do it, you know, like they don't do it really in the right way, but they have. And you know, when I was teaching, they were giving me always difficult classes because they knew I was good at it, you know. The only thing I did, you know, I did my best. First of all, I wanted to teach them, and I loved them. And I just, like, if they were impolite, it was, hey, whoa. I'm the teacher, but I love you. And they felt my love, you know. And I was solid, you know. So many teachers, they feel guilty and they feel not enough, not worthy enough, not this, and and then they get like that, you know. They talk to the parents. It's the parents' fault. It's the principal's fault. It's the kids' fault. It's not the fault, you know. Work on solution. What can we do to help that kids to do better at school or coming? Some of the kids, the parents didn't get up in the morning, okay? So they were maybe in grade 2, 7 years old. So the kids arrive at school late, okay? It's not arguing with them and say, hey, you're late, you should be at time. You should give him a medal because, you know, he got up by himself and you
But not only are they late, but they're probably dirty and hungry.
And yeah.
So you have to look at all of that. But you know, it's so hard on these teachers when you've got 25 little people, little minds, and you see 10 of them are not eating, 2 of them are not clean, and then the other ones are thriving. So, you know, this is giving us an opportunity with this COVID-19 as parents to see what the teachers go through, to understand the curriculum and what they are trying to teach your children, reading, writing, arithmetic. And we're not even talking about the social skills. Athletics have been taken out. The arts have been taken out. That's their creativity. That is really how children tell stories, is through their arts. They don't have the recreation. They're suffering from diabetes and, you know, childhood diabetes, because there's no exercise there. There's a lot going on there. And I am so glad that there are people, because I feel it, you know what I'm saying? And yes, Brains, you see the passion in her and you see the passion in me. That's what we do on the edge. I'm not trying to give you some cookie cutter show. Okay, I'm not trying to make everything seem perfect, because life is not perfect. And these are the battles and the struggles that people and parents are having behind the scenes. So I'm just so glad I got goose pimples, Claudine, that you are here with me to talk about this. And I feel what you're feeling. It's coming through. And Brains, please look at both sides of these perspectives. Look at where you are as a parent. Look how you can incorporate the thought process and explaining things and the detail and the care, but also understand that there are rules, there are structures, and there are boundaries. But if you don't explain those to your children, if you don't work with them, if you don't reiterate them, and if you don't reward for effort, because everybody's not going to be a straight A student. But if they get a C instead of a D and they tried really hard, reward them for their effort, okay? There's a lot going on in the world. Tell us a little bit about what is inside the pages of your book before we conclude. This has been fabulous.
The first part of the book is for the adult. You know, it's for the adult. And the first image that I have, it's a mask. You know, in the plane, you know, the oxygen mask.
Right.
You know, you have to put your mask first. So more you are strong, and you know yourself, you know, and not to be perfect. And my book is not about parenting perfectly. It's to accept to be the imperfect. You are the perfect imperfect parents for your kids, you know, and it's okay. You know, it's not to be perfect. So the first is to look after it. More you know yourself, more you accept to feel, because to be teaching, to be parenting, when you do it with your heart, it makes such a big difference. But our brain are two sides, the left brain and the right brain and the ego, and we want to do the right thing, the right way, and we get lost in that. And what people would think of me. But if you go to your heart and you say, okay, my value are this and this and that, and my rules in the house, it's this and this and that, and okay, I will raise my kids happy in those rules, and they will know that there are boundaries, but not boundaries like that, and not, you know, in the middle of that, the kids could, they are allowed to do things, because parents have to acknowledge, accept, and allow that their kids' power. Kids has power, but we are so afraid of that we push it down, right. And we're afraid that. So, you know, they know much more about themselves that we pretend to. We pretend that we know more for, you know, like we know what is best for you. And that's true, but they have to find out themselves.
Absolutely.
And mostly before 12, because it's time to make mistakes and do things like that. For the first half of the book, it's how to be an example ourselves, you know, and how to deal with the emotion. I have an exercise. It's called Zen. Be a Zen-your citizen. Zen. Be Zen, you know, so you are peaceful and you feel good. I-O-R. I, you have to identify your emotion. O, you have to own it. When you are angry and you're really, really upset, we try to not being angry, or, you know, it's not good to be angry, and we don't want our kids to be angry, and angry, it's like forbidden, you know, but we are angry, and it's not good. Just to own, say, I don't like it, my feeling, I'm angry, I don't like it, but I own it, I accept it, you know, and after you liberate it, let's go. And when kids arrive in, used to arrive in my office at school, you know, and they were really, really upset. I said, oh, you look very upset. Okay, breathe, and, you know, I'll give you a few minutes. When you'll be ready, you come back. We tend to talk to the kids when they are angry. It's not time. It's time to be angry when you are angry. And then after that, you can process and talk about what happened. So you have to be the adult. You have to be the example. You have to do what, you know, like there's a say, you say, do what I say, but don't.
Do what I say, but not as I do.
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly.
So
and that's very hypocritical. So tell my brains how to get in contact with you and how to get a copy of the book.
A copy of the book, right now, I have only the French version. The English version will be soon. It's not printed yet. And you can, at Claudine Paquet at parexemple.ca. And par exemple, it's written in French. So exemple, it takes a E, not a A. Example, you know, for you it's example, parexemple.ca. And you can go to my site, my website, it's claudinepaquet.com. But the website is in French at the moment. I have, if you write Clau, C-L-A-U-P-A-Q-U-E-T, Clau Paquet, on Facebook, you'll see, I put my banner there, so you could, you will.
It's banner there, but it's kind of at a distance, we can't see it, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be sure that all of your links, as in French as well as English, are there, and they're going to be repeated there. They're also going to be on the description on the YouTube channel, because I want people to understand. Again, she's dedicated her life to this, Brain.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not something that she's just done because it's a paycheck. This is a passion. She loves these children, she loves the parents, and she loves this philosophy. And I've learned a lot from her, and I'm sure that you've heard a lot from me. But again, this is where parents are, and this is, you know, we're trying to help you find a happy medium, because this is a new normal, and they are little people. They are little human beings, and they are going to leave your house one day, and you want them to be healthy, productive adults. Thank you so much, Claudine Paquet, for being here on the edge with me and my brains. This has been a very riveting conversation. It's been jam-packed. You are super smart, and thank you for being here from Canada. I love you. Please come back and let us know as things, you know, level out. When your book comes out in English, let us know so that we can get it out, and we can get it out to the world, because I know that it's very valuable. And I thank you so much, and I honor the work that you do.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Right. Bye, Brains.
Bye.